Hello, friends. We are here to review The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 3. I wasn't really moved by the episode. I saw that there was like a kiki and a cackle on Twitter, and the girls were liking, there was definitely some good like shade in this episode, and it was entertaining, and I had some laughs myself. But in terms of substance, like I just didn't get anything out of the episode. From the rooter to the tutor, I just feel like, first of all, the first thing that happens is the big Sutton thing, right? And yes, like Sutton was being annoying, and I think that she was overreacting. And definitely there is a weird transgression where she's like, oh, complaining about the whole pants thing and seeming very kind of like insecure that she didn't get picked to go up on the stage. But then she's talking about the ballet society thing and how that's not her brand and things like that. And I think we got a funny like back and forth between her and Kyle, and they got some shade in there, and they got a little heated. And the girls clocked some tea, like Kyle was really on that, like, is it about the pants thing? Like, I'm sure it's about the pants, kind of pushing that to a point almost, but she did have a point, I'll give her that. Then Sutton's like, well, here comes Kyle inserting herself into another conversation she doesn't know anything about. So, tea on that. But by the time they get to the sprinter van, they apologize. And I just don't feel like that story is going to go anywhere forward. And then, what kind of irritated me was when this unraveled for me. So we get this whole like build up to Erica coming on the van, and it felt very out of context for me. I feel like they were wanting, they meaning the powers that be behind the episode, they were wanting the audience to reference back to the hostility between Erica and Sutton, and then assume, I guess, that there was going to be this big conflict between the two of them. I wasn't getting that from the preview, which adds to my issue. So we got a preview of this, and we've seen it 1,000 times at this point. And it feels like it's just been very hyped up, very hyped up, very hyped up. Like this was going to be the moment. But even from that preview, I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, this is a Sutton versus Erica. I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was going to be Sutton for sure, but it more so felt like it was going to be all the ladies kind of like, Sutton, you're tripping, which is what it was, right? So I don't know if I was viewing the preview differently. I don't know if people were like, oh, we're getting a Sutton versus Erica, but I definitely did not get that. And then watching the episode, we definitely did not get that. So I feel like they were wanting to, because they like to do that fake out stuff with the editing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it falls flat. Hello, we're in a flat situation. And so I'm getting the impression, especially from all of we got like literally everybody on the cast doing a confessional like, oh my God, Erica's being calm and she's not really saying anything. I mean, she was still asserting her opinion and saying, like, you're not going to ruin my night, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. I feel like that was hyped up, and they were putting a spotlight on Erica that didn't need to be on Erica. Like, I don't know why it was implied that Erica was going to get big mad about this. I just didn't get that. Like, I understand that this was her event, but I still just didn't feel like she was going to get big super mad. Was Sutton tripping? Yes, but it's not something to like kick and yell and scream about. So I don't love that was like the big focal point of the episode, and it was so hyped up to be so like flat and unsubstantial, so and inconsequential, and just like it was like, it was nothing. That part I didn't love. We move on. That took about 30 minutes of the episode itself. And then we move on, and they're having a meal. And we all know for like housewives meals, like that's, a lot of tea happens there. So I'm expecting like, oh, well, maybe the topic will come back up, right? Because I'm feeling like that stuff with Sutton happened. And again, it was hyped up. But it's very touch and go. Like, it just happened in this episode at the beginning within the first 30 minutes. And I don't know that it's going to lend itself to anything else. I don't know that it really matters. It's a key point, and it's polarizing, gets the girls chatting. But in the grand scheme of things, past this episode, it won't matter. But then, they sit down to eat. So I'm like, okay, maybe it will matter. Maybe it'll come up a little bit. And, Sutton starts out the dinner by apologizing to Erica, which I think was great. And Erica was like, it's no problem, it's fine. And, we get more unnecessary confessionals about, wow, Erica's being so calm. And it was just like, I'm just not getting that, So that was nothing. And then for the rest of the dinner, they're like playing games. So like I can appreciate the camaraderie and that they're getting along and stuff like that, but that just wasn't anything I needed to watch for as long as I watched it, right? While we're at dinner, they're talking about Garcelle's children, like asking about them. And Garcelle is saying in her confessional that she, doesn't trust talking about her children in the group, which is completely understandable, but also a sneak peek that we received during last week or whenever the heck it was. So now I feel like we had this big hyped up moment for the beginning of the episode, saw it, gave nothing, and then now we're at this meal and we're about to get more of the same stuff that we already saw, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, and we've only got about 20 minutes left of the episode. So she mentions it in the confessional. It's not to the group. So I'm wondering, when are we getting the clip part, like the real clip part? So, they go on and dinner felt like it was forever, and then they wake up the next day and they're chilling and vibing, and Garcelle, I struggle to say randomly because I don't want random to feel like it means it's disingenuous. I don't feel like that, but it felt random in a sense where I wondered, like, did a producer prompt her to say that? Because it felt very out of context. It felt very just kind of brought up. Kudos to her, because obviously from a TV standpoint, we need to use that. We kind of need that because you felt some type of way about it, so it's relevant. And then also from a human standpoint, good for you for being vulnerable and sharing. But it did feel random at the end of the day. And, she brought it up. Very valid point that I don't necessarily feel like is so polarizing, and I don't know that the audience feels like it's super polarizing, but it obviously was for Dorit. And Dorit is, taking it personally and feeling some type of way about it, which is a fool. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to discuss as well, right? But it's just another thing that I don't feel like matters, right? Like I understand, I feel like it's just so easy to say, like, it makes sense that Garcelle feels that way, right? Like, I don't even know if it requires much discussion. Like, what happened with the bots last year was pretty crazy. So I think it makes perfect sense that she doesn't feel comfortable, sharing information and being vulnerable as it pertains to her children in this group. And it didn't really seem like a lot of the ladies in the group had much to say about it. So I was under the impression that while they may not have liked it, because it's not a positive thing, I feel like they could understand where it's coming from. But obviously Dorit had a strong point against it. Again, I don't think it's a polarizing thing, though. I would just charge that to the mind of Dorit. And I just feel like she would be thinking irrationally about it, honestly. So, but that's just because she's thinking from a selfish standpoint, and her whole thing is like, oh, you don't want me around your kids. You know how people get. And it's like, first of all, that's not even really what she said. So you're already starting off with a bad mischaracterization. And so, yeah, there's just not much that I really could have done with that. Like, again, I don't know that that's really going to take us anywhere. We've definitely seen this in the past. Garcelle and Dorit have miscommunications, right? I feel like Dorit misunderstands Garcelle a lot, and that causes them to have issues. So I can see that kind of going through, like, the through line of it all, their relationship and their overall dynamic. But again, since none of the other ladies really chimed in, I don't see that topic going very far either. So, and at that point we had seen the episode. So I feel some type of way that I probably wouldn't feel this way if we hadn't received half of the episode in the preview and half of the episode in a teaser. And then also, I feel like when they were filming, there were some inklings that, the beginning of the season was a little slow, but then it started to pick up a bit. And of course, those are just rumors. You hear things all the time while these shows are filming, especially in this age of social media. But, you never know, right? And then it's always going to be perspective. Like, some things are going to be entertaining to some not to others. So you never really know. But I'm starting to get that inclination, like, yeah, things may have been a little bit slow, because I just don't like the way that these 3 segments of the episode were so drawn out for nothing. Like, I feel like the whatever they were at, Magic Mike show thing, that maybe I would have given 30 minutes fine, like, because we had to go through the whole motions. Like, that part of the episode I would say was the most meaningful and substantial to me, and the most entertaining as well. But again, that was what was hyped up for the episode. So if that was supposed to be the peak, like the big moment of the episode, I don't think that they succeeded on that, but I do think it was the best part of the episode. And then from there, 75% of what's left of the episode, we got in a teaser on Twitter. And the conversation to be had as a result of that teaser, the Garcelle and her kids thing, it's already been happening on social media all week. And we didn't really get anything new from it. I guess maybe the DORIT aspect, but for me, that's not like a big debate topic. Like, I feel like we're doing a Bravo Watch What Happens Live poll, and about 99% of the people would agree with Garcelle. So I just, this episode really didn't give me anything. Hate to say it, but if I had to go with what happened and give my opinion, because I don't want to be unfair to the review, the episode still happened. Sutton was overreacting. I think that her and Kyle got a good kiki. I think they had good points on each other. Sutton was overreacting, and Kyle was inserting herself in a conversation that had absolutely nothing to do with her. I think the way that Erica responded it really didn't matter to me, because I didn't really expect Erica to have much to do with it. Like, I don't know if I necessarily care. I thought it was hilarious, her calling Sutton a Judge Judy and a sourpuss, absolutely. But, I just feel like Sutton made her point. Not that I didn't agree, but I think she made her point very clear, in that she was uncomfortable, whether it was the truth or not, whether it was about the pants or not. She was kind of just saying the same things, and for a while they were kind of picking apart and trying to debunk her theory as to why she was uncomfortable, and it kind of just felt unnecessary. Like, she's probably lying. She's probably upset about those pants. Okay, like, how much can we chat about that? So then they go to dinner. The games didn't really move me. Like, I didn't learn anything there that I really cared to know. And then the Garcelle and her son thing, I completely 175,000 billion trillion percent understand where Garcelle is coming from. And I 1,000 jillion gabillion percent feel like Dorit's thought process is a little off. But what else is new? I think we all know that. So if I hadn't gotten the inklings during the filming that things were slow in the beginning, would I feel this way? I don't know. But I just feel like I was befuddled. Like, I feel like this episode was hyped up almost for nothing. And I'm open to seeing what happens in the next episode. I don't have a choice. We're still at the beginning, so the girls have room to grow. And I'll see y'all on the next one.